dear viewers, you're watching Car and Bike. I'm Bilal and I am driving today the all-new Skoda Kylaq. Oh yes, I know you guys have been waiting for a proper drive review of the Kylaq for a long time now. In fact, it's been a year since this project was announced. So here right now we are only gonna talk about one thing: how the Skoda Kylaq is to drive. That's it, nothing else. Let's not waste any time and get on with it. Because you have already seen it on our channel, you know its pricing, the way it looks, how the cabin is. You have already formed your opinions about its cabin layout, the practicality it offers, and also the features. You also know the variants it's available in and the variants-wise feature distribution. But if you still have any doubt, you can go and visit our channel and check out all the previous videos we have done on the Kylaq. Now back to the driving part. Let's begin. Now with that sorted, let's start with the powertrain first. And I'm pretty sure you all know what the powertrain option in the Kylaq is like. You get one single engine option, which is the 1-liter 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine. It also gets direct injection. Now this same 1-liter engine, it does duties in its elder siblings, the Kylaq and the Slavia. But you have to consider that this is a much smaller car. It also has a weight deficit compared to its elder sibling. More importantly, you have two gearbox choices. What we are driving here, the 6-speed manual and the torque converter automatic. Now power figures at 114 bhp and 178 Newton meter. It's good for its size and on par, if not the best in segment. But how is it in real world condition to drive? Now with the specification out of the way, let's talk about the engine first. So this 3-cylinder engine, when you get in and start it, it has a bit of a gruff sounding nature. It's not very bad though, and it is only because of its 3-cylinder nature. But you get in, press the clutch, engage the gear and get going, and you notice that there's good amount of low end grunt from this engine. The vibrations, once you get going, it starts to disappear. And when you keep the engine revving at around say 2000 rpm, it has good low end grunt for all your city maneuverability. It is a high revving engine and it is very tractable as well. So the good low end grunt will keep you in a good momentum when driving in the city. But get past the 2000 rpm mark and it has a very strong mid range. So be it for city driving conditions or out on the highway, it has a good pull. But the engine, it does start to run out of steam close to 5000 rpm. Talking more about the engine, it is a bit sprightly in the nature. And here in the very lighter car compared to its bigger and heavier sibling, it feels even more punchier. In fact, it is a fun to drive combination, this overall combination. But talking about the dimension, we started the drive off in the very narrow lanes of Goa, and its compact dimension, it fit in perfectly because it's very compact. You have good visibility all around. You know where all 4 corners of the car is, and overall the visibility is also nice, if not great. But the compact dimensions, as I said, it's great for in-city maneuverability, especially if you live in a very highly populated cities such as Mumbai, Delhi, or even Bangalore. More importantly, the controls, they are very light. I'll talk about the steering in a bit, but overall this control, be it the gearbox, the steering, the visibility all around and the ergonomics, it's spot on. I only wish the gear lever was slightly taller in position so that it could have fallen right in my arms when my elbow is resting on this armrest. That would have made the cabin even more ergonomic. But even right now, the seat, it has good leverage for height. So I'm sitting low at the lowest sitting right now. It has electric adjustment. But for taller passengers or shorter passengers, there's a good amount of seat travel. So you get a proper driving position every single time. It is a relatively light car, as I mentioned earlier, with a decently powerful engine. So it is quick off its feet as well. It's eager and likes to run after butterflies if you let it off the leash. Keep feeding the revs, and it's followed by an impressive acceleration. It makes good sound though for a 3-cylinder actually. Now this engine, it has proven itself in all the 4 cars under the Skoda Volkswagen umbrella. But here in the Kylaq, it again gives the same good refined feeling, it has good usability in the city, and even out on the highway, it is quite powerful. It has a decent grunt, and if you have to take slow moving traffic, you just have to drop a gear and give it some beans, and it just follows through with good enthusiasm. The stability, the highway stability is also fantastic actually. It doesn't feel like a really light car. It has good highway manners. And then we come to the gearbox. Now this 6-speed manual, it is one of the good ones out there. The gearbox, the gear lever, in fact, it has good, nice short throws with a good mechanical feel to it. It's not rubbery. It doesn't feel notchy at all. It has good feel when you shift gears, and it is combined with an equally good clutch action. There's no spongy feel to it, there's no springy action in it, it just goes in. Even the travel, it's not that much. So this gearbox combination, it just makes for a very lively drive experience. So overall, if you actually enjoy driving and if you get yourself the Kylaq, I would recommend going for the manual. You won't regret, because this manual gearbox, it's just so sweet. And as for the automatic gearbox, it is smooth and quick too. Of course, not as quick as the DSG that is offered with the 1.5-liter engine, but it never gives you any reason to complain. Even when you go hard on the gas or you get a quick overtake out of it, this pocket-sized Skoda, it will deliver each and every time. And then we come to the steering and handling as well. Let's talk about the steering wheel first. This steering wheel, it is proper dimension in my opinion. It is large, has good feel to it in this leather wrap texture, and it has a good high quality feel each and every time you get in and hold it. But more importantly, the steering feel, it is light. And don't get me wrong, I love light steering because it is good for city maneuverability, it is good for highways as well. But overall, it has good swiftness to it. It's not quick, I would say it is swift when you want your handling to be good. We have taken some corners with it and it feels very direct. It has a good connect as well. It doesn't feel a lot artificial for a light steering wheel, because light steering wheel, they are usually very devoid of feel. But not here. You have good feedback from the steering every time you want to throw around the car a bit when you're feeling enthusiastic. But the steering, it goes nice and easy. It is direct with zero to no dead center, and it has good feedback as I mentioned earlier. So the steering, it makes the Kylaq a good driver's car. And as for the ride quality, what do you expect from a Skoda? It has an underlying stiffness to it. Because it is a global product, has that Europeanness to it. You do feel all the irregularities and bumps, which otherwise in other rivals, it would have been absorbed nicely. You do feel that inside the cabin at times. It doesn't get jarring or it doesn't get uncomfortable though. You do feel the irregularities, you have that stiffness, but at times it is well absorbent as well. Even out on the highway, it takes in the undulation quite nicely and gracefully. There are vertical movements, but it is quite controlled. And when the road starts to disappear, it doesn't feel as fragile though. I expected, it being a European car, it may falter when the road starts to disappear. But no, it is an India-made car, and they have tuned the suspension to take in the bad roads and irregularities, and especially when there are no roads at all. So the Skoda Kylaq, like all the Skodas before it, it has a stiff suspension. It is a trade-off when you want a sportier drive, and it does offer a sportier drive. If not the sportiest, but it is a good car to drive. And if you want a good car to drive, especially from a European manufacturer like Skoda, the little trade-off has to be its slightly stiffer suspension. Apart from that, we know India is a country which is obsessed with fuel efficiency. And especially in this segment, which is cutthroat, fuel efficiency, it does really matter. Now, the Kylaq, with its 1-liter engine, it should have a claimed efficiency of around 18 kmpl. But since morning that we are driving this car, we have had a mixed experience. Don't go with our figures, but on the MID, we have been seeing anything between 9 to 12 kmpl. We will definitely test out these figures when we get the car back home, because we know fuel efficiency matters a lot, and a Kylaq's fuel efficiency will or may be a deciding factor for many buyers. Also, you need to know that the Kylaq has some good corner carving capabilities. It has good mechanical grip, and when thrown around the corner, it settles in nicely. The suspension grabs in, and the soft nature of the suspension, it shows up. There is a body roll, but very slightly. It does turn in, but it settles in on the suspension quite nicely. So the mixture of a good stiff ride quality along with a well absorbent suspension, it gives the Kylaq a good combination overall. Especially at the front when you're driving the car. But what about when you're sitting at the back? Well, here at the back, the seats are nice. It is slightly upright, but it has good contours on it, and I am not complaining if I have to sit at the back and not at front. More importantly, the ride is well absorbent. It is not very jarring, as I had mentioned earlier. The underlying stiffness, it is felt here. You do feel that the suspension is taut and tight, in fact, but it is also well absorbent. There's a good balance when you are going on the smoother surfaces, and then when the road starts to get bad or for worse, the undulations are carried on nicely. There is not a lot of up and down movement over these undulation even on smoother surfaces, but when the surfaces does get irregular sharp edges on it, it does get or transferred inside the cabin. But that's the only complaint I have of the ride quality. On smoother surfaces, nothing beats it. Well, that's the all-new Kylaq for you. It brings Skoda to a segment which has many takers, but also has a lot many rivals, well-established rivals in this entire segment. In fact, 60% of the takers in this segment, they are first-time buyers. So why should those, the 60% of the new first-time buyers, they should get the Kylaq instead of these well-established rivals? Especially when the Kylaq, it doesn't bring a lot new to the table. It isn't the most spacious on the inside. It isn't the biggest either. In fact, it is smallest of the lot. The cabin space, it's on the tighter side. The features, they are on par and not more, and the pricing, it doesn't undercut the rivals by a significant margin. Well, you buy the Skoda Kylaq because it brings in the segment a good driver's car proposition. Not that this segment doesn't have good driving cars, but the Kylaq, it is a notch about them. Just like its elder siblings, the Kylaq and the Slavia, and all the other bigger siblings before them. Secondly, you buy the Kylaq because it has good build quality, and it has also scored good 5-star in the NCAP crash tests as well, so it's safe too. Thirdly, you buy the Kylaq because it brings in a Europeanness both inside and out. It has good fit and finish, the quality of materials is better than its rivals in some way, and it has good looks to go with it as well. You also buy it because if it is your first car in the family, you enter yourself in a family which is full of legends, be it the Octavia, the Kodiaq, or even the Superb. It makes for a really good first car. It is not without flaws though, but it has good merits for you to get yourself the Kylaq. If you're considering it, I'm definitely sure you won't regret it. And that's all from me in this video. Hope you liked it. If you did, do hit that like button and share this video with your friends and family, especially if they are in the market to get themselves a sub 4-meter SUV and they are considering the Kylaq for it. And if you have any other questions regarding the Kylaq, or if I have missed something that you wanted to hear in this video, do comment down in the comment section below, and I promise I will address them all personally. And that's all from me. This is Bilal signing off. Until next time.